Hello everybody, thank you very much for joining me today for another Twilight Zone video in my Twilight Zone ranking series, where I rank every episode of the original Twilight Zone from my least favorite to my favorite. Today I'm going to be talking about number 35, Kick the Can, written by George Clayton Johnson and directed by Lamont Johnson. This is a season 3 episode, and as always there will be spoilers. So, to me, Kick the Can is another classic Twilight Zone episode. This episode is pretty much a straight up fantasy, but I think it works really, really well. Ernest Truex, who was also in the episode What You Need, and Russell Collins give solid performances, and I just really like the story and feel like this episode is entertaining from beginning to end. I thought George Clayton Johnson's script also did a great job of investing me in the characters. So this one starts with a man named Charles who is waiting for his son to take him home to live with his family from a rest home. But some things come up and Charles can't go home with his son. So Charles realizes what he has to do. He feels like if he acts young and thinks young, he will be young. So his friend named Ben thinks that Charles is losing it. He doesn't agree with him. So he tells the person who runs the place they're at, a Mr. Cox, what he knows, and they decide to put Charles under observation. So this man Ben tries to convince Charles to act calmer like everyone else, but it doesn't work. The two men have very different philosophies. Ben thinks of them as old, and Charles says you're only old because you think and act old. And I thought these different philosophies were very interesting. So eventually, later one night, Charles goes around the home trying to recruit others to play kick the can with him, as he had seen some children playing it earlier in the episode, and this had reminded him of his childhood. Most of them agree, but of course Ben refuses. So what they do is they cause a distraction by lighting a firecracker to distract the nurse so they can sneak outside. And watching them do this was hilarious. I thought this was a great scene. I really loved it. So at this point, of course, Ben tells the superintendent, Cox, what they are doing. But when they go outside in a very, very magical scene, all they find are children playing kick the can. And Ben knows it's all of the residents from the home because he recognizes Charles as a kid. So now he realizes what happened and really wants to go with the others, but Charles doesn't seem to even know who he is. So Mr. Cox continues to look for the residents, but Ben knows he won't find them as they are all children again. So I do have to say I did feel bad for Ben, but he believed in the magic too late, I guess. And as for the others, I guess they're kids again. So Kick the Can is such a magical episode. It's one of those you just have to believe in the magic for it to work kind of episodes, but this one really works for me. Now, I do think this could have been a very sappy episode, but it just really works. I think Lamont Johnson's direction is very solid, and I really love the characters, and I think the whole episode feels very sincere. I just also love the premise of being able to be a kid again. I also think the message that age is just a state of mind is also a very interesting one. So overall, I feel like Kick the Can is a great Twilight Zone episode, and that is why it comes in at number 35 on the list. As always, feel free to let me know if you liked this episode or not. Thank you very much for your support, and thanks for watching.